So how do you turn your knowledge and experience into cash? Maybe you've been a photographer for years, a real estate agent, a service professional of some kind. You have experience, you have knowledge, and you want to take that on YouTube and start to monetize it. You could create a course, a coaching program. And today, I'm talking to Loida Velasquez, who was a real estate agent for years, built up her credibility, built up all that experience, but also then transitioned into creating content on YouTube and creating products and programs to serve clients and help them get results. So we're gonna learn a little bit more about her story and how you can ultimately monetize in multiple different ways, different than YouTube AdSense, on your YouTube channel. So Loida, thanks for coming back on the podcast.
Yes, I'm always excited to do this, Sean.
Thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited. So in part one, we talked really about how to use YouTube for real estate agents, which is who you as a coach help. But I'm actually curious about a little bit of your story. You can go into that, but really your transition from doing the thing and then eventually teaching the thing.
Yeah.
And so speak to that journey.
What's funny is that when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher. Later on, I grew up. Eventually, that thought went away. So the fact that I'm teaching now agents, it kind of brings me back, and it's like a full circle moment where I'm like, you know what, I'm actually doing what I wanted 2 years ago when I didn't even think of it. So the transition happened when I was doing transactions. I was actively learning, making calls, door knocking, doing the things that a lot of agents don't want to do or have no idea where to start. And as I'm putting out this content, many of them are reaching out because they want help and they wanted me to show them the ropes and be successful the way that I had been able to do my thing. So it happened in 2020 when the pandemic hit. That's when I took that as an opportunity to crank it up on video, because I was like, this is the time for me to show up. A lot of agents are probably going to leave the business, but I need to make sure that everyone knows that I'm still in the business and I'm still here to show you and teach you whatever it is that you need in order to succeed and to make it out of this that no one knows what's going to happen. So that's when I created my New Agent Bootcamp. In that bootcamp, initially it was 30 days, and I would cover absolutely everything from communication, tonality, scripts, objection handlers, working with buyers, sellers. So everything that any agent needed to know to succeed, it was like a crash course, and this is what you need. Everyone loved it. I remember when I created that, I hadn't done anything like that before. And I told myself, if 20 people sign up, this is going to be amazing. I had 60 people. So then the next month I did it again, and it was 100 people. And I'm like, you know what? I'm onto something here, because obviously there's a need that needs to be fulfilled. A lot of agents aren't getting this type of education. And what's funny is that while I'm doing these boot camps, some agents were letting me know that their brokers were using my YouTube videos to train them. So as I'm creating the boot camps, I saw that a lot of agents were getting success. They would send me screenshots. They would say, hey, Loida, I did that thing that you said. I got my first deal. I just got my first paycheck. So that was really fulfilling for me. So I knew that, everything that I'm teaching you is 100% legit if you implement it. So if you implement it, you're going to have success. So that led on to coaching and seeing how I could work more with agents that really wanted to kick it up a notch. If you're doing, 12 deals, what are we going to do 30, 6 figures and that type of thing. So that's kind of how that came about.
That's amazing. And how long were you in real estate, but when did you start?
I started in 2015.
So you're about 5 years. What would you give for advice for somebody who's questioning their expertise? We agree at Think Media that you definitely should be, we want to hold ourselves to the standard of being player coaches. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be teaching something we haven't lived and done. Sometimes people think though that 5 years, does it need to be 5 years? Does it need to be 10 years? If someone's doubting their expertise, like when is it okay to present yourself as a teacher? And no one's going to ever come and knight you, like at the Knights of the Round Table. James Altucher wrote a book called Choose Yourself. At some point, you have to just say, like, you have permission. You have permission to do it. Of course, you want to have that confidence and that credibility. So if you're thinking about someone that's moving into coaching, what's like a framework to say, okay, I've done the thing, I have the experience, now I'm ready to teach, from your perspective?
I would see if there's maybe people that you can teach what you know so that they can implement it, so you can already start seeing results and have some type of proof that what you're doing is not just based on what you can do and your knowledge, but it can be duplicated by anyone.
So do it on a small scale before you maybe productize it. That's actually what we did with our program Video Ranking Academy. Was I had a theory that this would work, and I started to give it away for free in exchange for video testimonials if the person liked the program. So before just sitting down and like recording an online course or launching a boot camp, at least that's what I did. I said, okay, I know I can rank videos. Can I help other people rank videos?
Yeah.
And so I actually started to hit up just social media, friends, network, people who were maybe following me. And I'm talking about tech and cameras, doing the thing of doing affiliate marketing, built up to 6 figures, talking about cameras, whatever. And they then said, okay, sure. So I got on like Zoom meetings, no product, no program yet, and said, hey, do this, do this, do this. And then it also helped me kind of build up some testimonials early on. And so not only do the thing first, pass along your knowledge, see if it could get some results, and then kind of productize. How did you come up with the name, the product, the structure? Was that the first time you had done that? It was the first basically product?
That was the first one, yeah.
And what was it called again?
The New Agent Bootcamp.
And so from your standpoint, how did you sit down and think about name, marketing, structuring it?
I'm the type of person that sometimes as I'm thinking about it, it all just comes at once.
Okay.
I was attracting a lot of new agents because the content that I was putting out is exactly what they were looking for. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make it super easy for people to remember, for people to find the New Agent Bootcamp. It's pretty self-explanatory where you're gonna get in there. And then it really took me maybe like a weekend where I just sat down for like Saturday, Sunday in my desk and wrote down exactly what I wanted to teach, what I wanted the outcome to be for every single student that took part. I wanted to make sure that they all had a great experience, that they would tell other agents to come back. So that's kind of how that happened. It was like, I remember it was like a Saturday. I went on myself on Canva, started coming up with designs. So I did everything. I was like a one-man show. And yeah, that was the start of the New Agent Bootcamp.
This video was brought to you by StreamYard. StreamYard is our go-to platform for streaming to YouTube and Facebook with an incredibly easy to use interface for built-in branding, transitions, text lower thirds, and seamlessly bringing on guests. It really is one of the best options when it comes to live streaming. And what's so cool is they've implemented a brand new feature called local recording. Take control of your audio and video with local recordings by separating out your audio and video from your guests. This feature gives you the control over your content for later use, making it perfect for podcasts and video creators. Just go to streamwiththink.com to get started now.
And so are you self-taught in that regard? Your colors, your logo, your name. You came up with a name, Canva, web software, free version, paid version. You just started doing the design. Did you build out a landing page? What software did you use? Like people give you their email?
Yeah, so it was on Wix. I just created a landing page. For emails, I think I did create like some type of form that people can put their information on there, but it wasn't really that much. I had no experience in doing any of this. I knew how to sell homes. I was a great real estate agent, but when it came to actually creating a product and a course, I'm like, you know what? This is what I would do. This is kind of what I see others doing, so let me try it out. And aside from that, it was all just organically through social media. I put out YouTube videos about it on Instagram, and that's how people started to sign up.
How did you accept payment?
PayPal.
Okay, really?
Yes.
So you're just like PayPal. It started at $497.
Everything was set up through the website that I built. Yeah. So yeah, it was payments through there.
And then once they pay, then what did you deliver? Where did you fulfill on this bootcamp?
So there was a private Facebook group. It was Zoom trainings every single week. Everything was recorded. Everyone has lifetime access to that. Aside from that, I would, if anyone had any questions, they could post it in the group. I would answer them in the form of a video so that they can look back at it in case, cool. They wanted to hear how I said certain things. And yeah, that was kind of like the basic starting package of what you would get. And the fact that they would be able to ask me questions, for many of them, it was like, oh my gosh, I have access to Loida. Like, she's gonna answer my objection handlers and anything like that. That's kind of what really sold it to a lot of the people that joined.
Gotcha. And so then where did you upload the recordings from Zoom?
The very first bootcamp that I did the recordings inside the Facebook group. So everything lived in there.
Got it, in like the media area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over time, it evolved to a Google Drive. And now I do have like funnels and all these things set up so that everything lives within like a membership space.
And do you still build that yourself, or is it?
No, now I have someone else.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
So then as things have scaled, as revenue increased, you started to perfect things.
Yes.
I love that too, because I think when people are trying to transition from how do you turn your knowledge and experience into cash, it can be super overwhelming, and it is a whole new skill set to learn. It could be email, CRM, hosting, membership.
It's overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing.
Customer service, refund if you need to. My credit card got, fraud, and my payments broke. So now I'm trying to fix somebody, or like all these different details. So of course, you got to start messy. You got to start really before you're ready. And I think you can level up as you go. One of the things we love is really beta programs. When we first, our YouTube course, main YouTube course is called Video Ranking Academy. And when we first launched it, it was 70, 80% cheaper than it was now, because it was version 1.0. It was also like, we call it Getmo, good enough to move on. Good enough, meaning it'll serve the client and customer, but it wasn't the final version. Like, get 1.0 out there into the marketplace. And if you're giving people a lower price, they're getting in early, and they maybe have future upgrades as you continue to improve it. And then you got to hustle and get cash, because you need money for the mission that you can reinvest in people. So eventually you might have an assistant helping you with customer service, and you might have, Heather Torres was critical in these early days, because even though I am very familiar, I built WordPress sites, and so we use Kajabi. Just the simple fact of building like a landing page on an opt-in or doing a web class, and then and there's just a lot of different pieces. So getting help as soon as possible is a big deal. For you, how long did you run it solo before you got help?
Like a year and a half.
Okay.
So it was still some time.
Yeah. So you ran it a year, and then
Yeah.
Are you thinking about scaling right now? Are you thinking you're at a good level with the amount of help you have? Or are you in a process of thinking about hiring or more?
Continuing to grow, definitely.
Got it. So you're thinking team, you're thinking systems. What other advice would you have for someone, again, maybe the mistakes you've made or the lessons you've learned in the process of doing this that would help someone watching that says, okay, I am ready, I've got some experience. And one of the things I like to say too is you only have to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of others. If you've been in real estate 12 months, you probably already made 100 mistakes that you're like, man, wish I would have known this day one. There's something about, though, building enough credibility, enough depth to at least be at intermediate to help beginners. Eventually, then that'll push you to advanced to help all the beginners you help become intermediate. And that's kind of the customer journey. Chalene Johnson's one of my mentors as well. You just help someone who is where you used to be, and then you are also continuing to grow.
Exactly.
So if you're continuing to grow, then as they grow, you're just always a few steps ahead, which is critical that you would be committed to growth, to learning, to constantly learning. I know you're that way, I'm that way. We are always investing in ourselves. Nevertheless, you're just a few steps ahead. So if you are ready to make that pivot, what are some mistakes? What are some things that would have helped you save some pain, save some time in that, especially that first year and a half?
I think for this, and also just being a real estate agent, get a coach or invest in yourself in a program or someone that offers exactly what you want to learn and they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Because if I would have done what I did, it took me a while, if I would have done it sooner, I probably would be at a much higher income doing other things, but I'm just now getting there. So I think that's a thing that scares a lot of people, investing in themselves, because a lot of times it's not going to be cheap. You can't find it on YouTube. There's only enough information on YouTube that's free, but then after that, okay, let's go. Who's doing what I want to do? That's 6, 7, 8 figures, because that's who we need to learn from. And it's going to cost you some money, but it's going to take all of the pain away, the trial and error. We're going to get it right from the start.
Super smart. Yeah, investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. If people want to connect with you more, where are you on social media?
YouTube, Loida Velasquez, easy. My website, loidavelasquez.com, and then on Instagram, Loida Velas.